High above, thousands of Eurasian siskins and hawfinches launch towards southern latitudes, effectively draining the chilling skies of their typical avian vibrance. The vast Swiss glaciers, the enduring, frozen spirits of the region, steadily draw their icy mantles back across the valleys as the sun's trajectory dips lower. Autumn in this altitude offers absolutely zero romanticism. It is strictly a desperate sprint, where the sole prize awarded is the privilege of continuing to breathe. Every single seed buried, every microscopic gram of adipose tissue secured these all function as critical boarding passes to survive the rapidly approaching icy blockade. The very moment the initial snowflake kisses the dirt, this frantic marathon terminates entirely, yielding the stage to the ruthless, suffocating quiet of the deep freeze. Solely the creatures that exhausted every ounce of their stamina during the fall possess any realistic odds of greeting the warm dawn of the forthcoming spring. Does the brutal fight for existence across the Alps leave you astounded? Share your perspective with us in the comments section below. Starting in November, an ancient silver armor envelops the Alps, a barricade of frost and gale erected between existence and oblivion. At the uppermost elevations, the chill plummets to a staggering -22 degrees Fahrenheit, transforming the atmosphere into piercing needles that shatter every defensive barrier. At the base of the Matterhorn, 13 feet of snow accumulates, erasing all prior marks and weaving an endless ivory ocean devoid of a horizon. The Lauterbrunnen Valley, where roaring cascades echoed throughout the warmer months, is now reduced to massive glacial columns suspended silently against sheer drops of nearly 1,000 feet. Within this profound quiet, the stillness does not signify tranquility. Rather, it manifests an ongoing battle waging within every single cell. At the edge of the sky, where stone merges with cloud, an ancient organism blends flawlessly into the snowy canvas, the rock ptarmigan. As the final descendant of the glacial epochs, this avian has held its ground for millions of years in the upper realms spanning 6,200 to 8,900 feet. Upon winter's arrival, this bird undergoes an astonishing metamorphosis. Its drab, earthly tones give way to a pristine armorial white, marking one of its 3 yearly molts. This cold weather plumage doubles in thickness, acting as an imperceptible thermal shield against the penetrating freeze. They huddle beside wind-shielding rocks, drastically curtailing all movement to hoard every single calorie, only occasionally burrowing through the drifts to seek out meager roots and surviving shoots. As shadows consume this glacial realm, a nocturnal hunter launches a stealthy patrol from derelict farm roofs in the valleys below. The barn owl. While the majority of fauna succumb to the blackness and snow, this avian predator turns the gloom into an absolute tactical advantage. Its unevenly placed ears, one positioned higher than its counterpart pair, with a heart-shaped facial disc that acts as an acoustic receiver, enabling it to pinpoint prey in 3 dimensions via acoustics alone. Beneath the pine canopies groaning under the weight of winter, a more massive shadow glides through the night, the gray wolf. Once eradicated from this mountain chain, these hunters have traversed high passes from Italy, methodically reclaiming their mantle as the ultimate enforcers of ecological balance. To endure -4 degrees Fahrenheit, this canid wears a dual-layered coat, downy underfur trapping warmth, and coarse outer hairs repelling the blizzard, a seamless double-layered bulwark. The true adversary for these carnivores during the cold months is not the chill, it is the persistent starvation when potential meals become exceptionally scarce. They assemble in highly coordinated units of 4 to 6 members, traversing immense domains, scouring for any sign of red deer or mountain ungulates. The deep drifts serve as their ultimate accomplice, hindering the progress of bulky herbivores, while the wolves' expansive paws disperse their mass evenly over the powder. They dog the trail with infinite patience, corralling their target into the thickest banks to induce exhaustion, a flanking strategy honed by survivors across countless generations. The resurgence of these apex predators has initiated a restructuring of grazing populations, paving the way for alpine flora to rejuvenate an achievement human intervention never quite managed. On the waters of Lake Geneva and Lake Thun, an exhibition of unflinching grit plays out, the unyielding presence of the mute swan. The aquatic surface has largely solidified, yet the few remaining open patches serve as the ultimate sanctuary for these grand waterfowl. They utilize their massive bulk and incredibly dense, water-repellent feathers to anchor their core temperature amidst the biting liquid chill. The key to their survival lies right in their limbs. A counter-current vascular network, warm arterial flow from the heart, transfers heat to the chilled venous return, securely locking the core temperature in place. Despite the dearth of aquatic greens, the swans stubbornly forage for sustenance at the lake's bottom, as resolute as the very peaks that surround them. The cold season in these highlands is the most merciless culling process, a domain where demise stalks behind every freezing draft. From the ptarmigan on the crests, to the owl in the dark, to the wolves in the dense timber, all must either conform or be erased. Amidst that profound hush, every inhalation stands as an affirmation. Every single day of persistence is a monumental triumph. They bide their time, steadfast and mute, until the vernal sun gains enough vigor to shatter the icy chains of the cold months. Because beneath 13 feet of accumulation, the rhythm of existence never entirely halted it, merely contracted, gathered its strength, and primed itself to ignite. As March reclaims the calendar, the highlands begin casting off their frosty armor to step into a spectacular rebirth. The glacial caps liquefy, and crystalline currents surge from the ice fields, carving through stone fissures to cascade into the basins below. The climate inches upward from 36 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit, injecting fresh vigor into every clod of earth that sat frozen throughout the dark season. Carpets of grass stretch upward to embrace the sunlight, signaling the commencement of an entirely new cycle of existence. In Zermatt and Lauterbrunnen, the Staubach Cascade, plunging nearly 1,000 feet, bellows into action once more amidst a vibrant emerald canvas. Beneath the warming aquatic surfaces, the multiplying of tiny fish lays out an opulent banquet for the water-dwelling avian species. This also marks the period to observe one of the natural realm's most poetic courtship displays, the mating choreography of the great crested grebe. Mated pairs confront one another, thrusting their slender necks aloft in flawlessly synchronized maneuvers atop the ripples. Arriving from distant southern territories, a visitor harboring an alien elegance has also made its return, the hoopoe. Its expansive crest and intensely striped plumage make it a focal point across the subalpine sectors, particularly around Lake Lugano, where the balmy weather and abundant insects prevail. The nestlings receive devoted nurturing from their parents, for a span of 26 to 29 days before they are sufficiently fledged to embark on solitary lives. Springtime in these mountains is not merely a climatic transition. It stands as an epic saga of revitalization and unyielding resolve. Beneath its imposing and seemingly permanent exterior, this mountain range is enduring a stealthy yet ruthless alteration. The glaciers, the timeless core of the massif, are dissipated at a velocity never before witnessed. In the year 2022 alone, Switzerland shed 6% of its frozen mass, followed by another 4% the subsequent year, accumulating in a 10% loss over a mere 24 months. As these icy citadels crumble, they do not just expose barren rock, they drag down the destinies of countless organisms with them. The ptarmigan, reliant on heavy snowfall for disguise, is now rendered a glaring mark when the frost recedes prematurely, its numbers having dwindled by roughly a third since the mid-1990s. Chamois and ibex are driven to retreat ever higher into zones where sustenance is sparse and habitable terrain increasingly shrinks. Gleaming winter resorts and labyrinthine cable car infrastructures have severed the ancient migratory routes of the local ungulates. Even the waterways suffer profound injury. Summer discharge volumes have plummeted due to the vanishing glaciers, imperiling the endemic brown trout communities. Nevertheless, amidst the gloom of this ecological emergency, glimmers of optimism still spark. At the Pomeranian Glacier, colossal white canvases are unrolled across the ice like a protective epidermis, managing to cut the annual melt rate by up to 50%. The Eurasian lynx, once entirely expunged from Swiss territory, has experienced a resurgence since 1971. Originating from a mere 25 to 30 initial specimens, the continent's largest wild feline has resurfaced, restoring equilibrium to the mountainous woodland ecosystems. The narrative of the alpine ibex is even more miraculous. Once teetering on the precipice of annihilation, Every single ibex currently in the Alps is a descendant of a safeguarded herd in Gran Paradiso, Italy. From the brink of non-existence, they have rallied to conquer the most elevated crags of Europe, a powerful testament that conservation efforts can truly rewrite history. The destiny of these highlands is not sealed within arid academic papers. It hinges upon the awakening and the decisive actions of every individual among us. Every minor decision, from embracing eco-friendly travel to engaging in environmental stewardship, acts as a droplet of moisture seeping into stone, sustaining resilient life. Atop the snow-draped summits, the golden eagle continues to glide its wingspan exceeding 7 feet, slicing through the heavens, while its shadow sweeps across millennia-old rocky faces as a reminder that this realm is still respiring. The wheel of nature initiates anew, fraught with trials, yet brimming with the most pristine splendor of creation. And the saga of the Alps, a tale spun from ice, stone, blood, and vitality, will proceed to be documented as long as frost still crowns the zeniths and the raptor's silhouette still grazes the eternal cliffs. Every biological entity carries within itself a phenomenal narrative. Nature Documentary 4K will continue bringing those accounts to you. If you have not yet subscribed, this is the optimal moment to do so. Have you ever stood paralyzed before the untouched majesty of the alpine woods, or marveled at the sheer will to survive upon the highest summits? Share your own experiences to help Nature Documentary 4K propagate the mission of conservation.